Hey everyone, welcome back to DSEL. So it's the end of another year, and that means another year in review video. So let's get going. Now for the first part of the video, I'm going to be talking about some metrics for the channel, and if you're not interested in that, you can skip to this point in the video, and that'll be when I start talking about what the videos I did and what models I got, and so on and so forth. So for those of you who are interested, I got just short of 17,700 views in this year. I got almost 600 watch hours, which is an improvement, and I got another 116 subscribers. So for those of y'all who watched the videos and subscribe to the channel, thank you so much, and I'm looking forward to what I can provide for y'all next year. So some of the top videos from this year were the Jacksonville Train Show, which I'll talk about shortly. In February, it has almost, it's just short of 3,500 views, 6 more views, and it'll be at 3,500 views. My Base 3 video, which is also just short of 3,000 views, that I made back in July. A couple of shorts, just a commuter train or home commute train catch that I caught around April, has just short of or just over 2,300 views. And actually, the video from last year in 2023, the Dreyfus video, has just short of 1,200 views. And we're rounding out the year with just over 450 subscribers, 458 subscribers. And to each and every one of you, thank you so much for watching my content. And like I said just a minute ago, I'm looking forward to what I can provide for you guys next year. I already have a bunch of videos in the works, and I'm hoping to start putting those out right after this one. I have like at least 5 videos already in the works, and I'm looking forward to putting them out for y'all. Alright, so now that we're done talking about the metrics, what actually happened on the channel this year? So starting in January, I went to the Charleston Area Model Railroad Club show in Charleston, South Carolina. And while I didn't pick up much, I did pick up a Lionel Union Pacific caboose. And moving on, we went to the Lionel 2024 Big Book catalog was released. And among other things, the ES44s were there, and I ordered the Central Georgia and the B&O CSX Heritage unit because I'd actually seen that unit in person on the way to lunch at work. And then shortly after that, I made the Charleston area video, and I'll also include any video that I mention here in the description or up in the corner. I did my catalog review video. The MTH Shays came in. I ordered an unlettered one that I finally got around to lettering around midway through the year. Did the first run video, and I joined the Coastal Rail Bus Club in Savannah. Now they are a HO mainly club, and I'm slowly working my O scale stuff in there, but I'm trying to bring some more scales into the club, and they seem to enjoy it so far. Moving on, we actually had the Coastal Rail Bus Train Show in January, where I bought a Atlas Burlington covered hopper, 2 Central Georgia the right of way booklets. It's basically their magazine for the Heritage Society, on the Nancy Hanks and the Man of War, which were 2 passenger trains that I'm actually looking to build for the Third Rail E7s that came in at the end of this year, which we'll get to shortly. And I also found a copy of Microsoft Train Simulator, which was a game I played a lot as a kid, and I actually got it to work here on my computer, so it's fun to kind of play that again, despite it's definitely looks its age, but it's still very fun to play. Moving on to February, I cranked out the CRB show video since that was at the very end of the month. I really didn't have enough time to make the video inside of the same month. But We also went to the Jacksonville Golden Spike train show, where I also received a Central Georgia Nancy Hanks picture, which I'll include here, and a Lionel Pennsylvania Crane tender car, which I have some special plans for that car. And if you've watched my Instagram at any point throughout the year, you will have seen some custom work for models and things like that. And I want to turn that car into a camera car. So it'll be painted in all the colors that my normal SEL stuff gets painted in. And I've 3D designed and printed a mount for cameras to go on, so it can either just be a normal car, or you can plop down the camera mount and use it as a camera car to get POV shots of trains on the track. So I'm still working on that car. The mount's done. I just really need to finish the lettering and things like that. And also in that month was the Jacksonville show video. So not too much happened in March. So let's go ahead and move on to April. In April, Atlas announced their first, among other things, their first steam engine in quite some time. And I ordered the Southern 630 unit as well as their Savannah Atlanta caboose. Lionel announced the ET44s, and I ordered the NS units. I wanted to order a CSX unit to go so I'd have two normal engines to go with my Heritage units, but I just couldn't swing both. So I decided to go with NS because that's mainly what I see around here in Springfield. While I do see a whole lot of CSX at work, I really wanted some normal power to go with my COG Heritage unit. I might pick up either a normal ES44 or ET44 for CSX at some point in the future, so that way I have some normal power to go with just about anything I run. But for now, I'm going to stick with NS. And right at the end of April, the Lionel SD70 Aces arrived, and I ordered the New York Central version to go with my 20th Century Limited, and I have the first run video and the review video in the description. Moving on to May, as I just said, we had the SD70 review. We also had National Train Day at the CRB, which we normally do things like that at the museum, and the Georgia State Railroad Museum. That was a really fun day, and I have a video for it also in the description. Another short month, June, not a whole lot happened, and the only thing that I had in terms of models was the Golden Gate Depot Viewliner baggage car. Now, that was a car I've been waiting on for a while. It's a car that I needed to build a train that I'm working on. It's the Palmetto, which we actually took up from Savannah to Washington, D.C. for York, which I will get to when we get down to October. Moving on to July, I finally got my hands on a building that I've been eyeing for quite a while, but that I never really had the chance to buy for one reason or another. The Atlas O ice platform. Now, anyone who wants to find these knows these are kind of a challenge to find, and I got mine off of Trains for a pretty good deal. And finally, the base 3s came in, and this is something I had been personally looking forward to for quite some time, because that meant I could finally run my legacy engines at a legacy level and not just through Bluetooth. And as someone who is relatively new not relatively new anymore at this point, to the command side of the hobby, it was fun to finally be able to run my command engines in the way they were truly meant to be run. And then Lionel also put out their Volume 2 catalog, so I had to do a video on it, so it's in the description if you want to watch that. Moving on to August and September, not too much happened in August. I put out my base 3 video, but in September, I bought 2 undecorated cars that I lettered for my own railroad, the Southern Eagle Lines, and I put pictures of that on Instagram as I worked on them. And I finally got around to lettering both the 6-pack of log cars and the Shay. I also began lettering my passenger cars, which are still a work in progress. I kind of ran out of letters that I need. I still need to order some of them, but the cars that I've done so far, I'm very happy with how they've come out. I also received an ice house from Texas Eagle 77, who I met on the Matt podcast Discord server, which is now the Miniature Models podcast server. And I bought those two to kind of the Atlas platform and the ice house to kind of build a custom icing area for my reefers that I have. And I have some special plans for that, so stay tuned for those. I also bought a mural of the Savannah Roundhouse, which is where our club meets quite often. And it's cool to have a mural of a roundhouse that I plan to build a replica of for my layout. Not necessarily this layout, but a layout that I plan to build in the future whenever I'm in a bigger space. I also won the Train September giveaway, which included this shirt that I'm wearing right here, a lanyard, some pins, a sticker, and a Lionel Central Georgia boxcar, which I thought was really cool. And it also was built because Lionel occasionally will do a build year when they actually made the model, and it was from 1996, which was when I was born, which I thought was a really, really cool little side note. And when I received it, I made sure to message the Trains people on Instagram and say, hey, you might not have planned this, but here's a little cool little coincidence. And I also made sure to mention that to them when I met them at York. And speaking of York, let's move on to October. All right, October. So October was a pretty big month for me. The ES44s finally arrived, so that means I did a first run video for those shortly before York. And let's move on to York. So this was actually my first York trip. We left Savannah via the Amtrak Palmetto, which was a 11 and a half, close to 12-hour ride from Savannah to DC. And if y'all are interested in me doing a video on the trip itself to York, I've already done a York video, but the actual trip from Savannah to DC, I have a little bit of footage from that I haven't used anywhere yet. So if you're interested in that, let me know. But before we get to that, we also rode the Acela. So we planned to ride the Acela the day before York. So we got up there a day-ish early before York. We stayed the night in DC, and then we took the Acela from DC to Baltimore, which was a really fun experience. And we went pretty fast. We were actually going like 125 according to my phone or something like that. But let's actually move on to York. So I got a MTH Rail King SW1500, which was lettered up for the River Street Rambler, which is actually an engine that used to go up and down River Street in Savannah, which is about half an hour from where I live. It doesn't do it anymore because the tracks are decommissioned, but it's super cool to have a local historical piece in my collection that I had plans to make my own. In O-Scale, I actually bought another Rail King SW1500 that I've had in my collection for quite some time, but I just never got around to changing the paint scheme to the Rambler. But now that I have an actual Rambler, I have two of those engines that I can run whenever I want. I can double head them whenever, but I might have some other plans for the SW1500 that I was going to re-letter, or maybe I'll just leave it the same. I don't know. But I also found an MTH Premier observation car, Georgia Railroad number 300. Both of these were on the first day of York, and Train Man Dan and his dad were all walking around, and that was one of the first things I saw that I thought would be interesting to buy. And Train Man Dan actually asked me on the spot if I was going to buy it. I said, I don't know. I mean, it would be fun to take home, but I wanted to look around a little bit first. And right around 3-ish, I think at the end of the day, Train Man Dan actually called me over Discord and said, hey, this thing's still here. You better come get it. I was like, oh, okay. Along with other things, I got some placemats. Or not placemats, but coasters for cups that were Central Georgia and Savannah, Atlanta. I also got some wooden plaques that also feature the Savannah, Atlanta, and Central Georgia logos, which I thought were pretty cool. But half the fun of York itself was actually all the people I got to meet. So starting out the first day at York, or actually before the first day of York, we went to the Lower Susquehanna Valley Model Railroad Club, where I got to finally meet Zach from Joker's Trains. I met Chris Montagna there. I don't remember if it was the first night or not, but I got to meet RJ. I finally got to talk with RVP in person. Chris Montagna, like I said, and all those guys. And I got to meet a bunch of other people who watch my videos. So it was really cool to finally meet people in person that I've watched through YouTube and things like that and have talked to on the Discord. But it was nice to finally have a face-to-face conversation with them. And I also got to take the Rambler as well as my 280 that I lettered for the SEL to the Lower Susquehanna Club, as well as Chris Montagna's layout, which was really cool to allow them to run in a newer place that isn't my own little loop back here. So I'll put some footage here that so y'all can see that. Moving on to November, I got a Central Georgia map for my birthday from my parents, which I thought was really cool. It started out as a piece of paper from a book that was kind of small, so my dad blew it up to a pretty decent size at his workplace, and now it's nice and framed and everything, and they got me the framed version for my birthday, and my dad told me the story afterwards. And the MTH WTIUs finally came in around Thanksgiving-ish, so that was fun to kind of finally hook that up and be able to run my MTH engines the way they were intended to run. And the RBP Trains custom caboose finally came in, and it was cool to now have 2 YouTube channel cabooses in the collection. The first of the Atlas Premier Berwick started to arrive, and I finally got around to making my York video. Last month, moving on to December. So I finally had the time to finish the Shay, and I'm happy that it's finally done and I can actually run it like it was supposed to. It had been sitting on the shelf for some time because I hadn't had a chance to clear coat it yet because I ran out of the clear coat, and I didn't want to touch it or ruin anything. I kind of wanted to make sure it was still in good shape before I was able to clear coat it. The third rail E7s finally came in, and I'm beyond happy to finally have these in the collection. I ordered 2 of the Central Georgia versions, and cool fact about these, only 6 of the Central Georgia ones were made, and I have 2 of them. I also ordered one of the unpainted versions, and I have some special plans for that one. But for the COG ones, I want, actually for all 3, I want to put MTH's PS3 system inside, so I can put some custom sounds in it. I want one of the Central, or 2, I want both of the Central Georgia trains to have their own train. So I want one of them to be the Nancy Hanks and one of them to be the Man of War. And I'll probably do 2 for each for different road numbers, so that way either one can pull either train. And I'll probably do a special sound set for the custom one. I also received a custom diorama built by my brother for Christmas for the River Street Rambler, and I'll put a picture of it here. And my parents got me a Central Georgia lantern and a switch lock, which is also really cool. I'm pleased that my Central Georgia collection of memorabilia is growing in addition to the Central Georgia engines that I have in my collection. And the last 2 of the Atlas Premier Berwicks that I ordered came in right before the end of the year, as well as 2 of the Master Hoppers that I ordered. So that was 2024. I'm looking forward to what 2025 has in store for not just me, but the channel in general. And I'm looking forward to all the videos that I'll get to do and the models that are coming in. But thank you all guys so much for watching my videos this year. Thank you to everyone who subscribed, liked, commented. It's been fun doing YouTube for these last couple of years. I never really expected my channel to do all that great, but I'm really thankful for all of you guys who, like I said, watch, leave comments. It means a lot. And I'm hoping that the channel continues to grow and I continue to bring good videos for you guys. But with all that being said, thank you guys for watching, and let's have a good 2025. See y'all.